Some people wake up and the day happens to them. Others wake up and they build the day piece by piece, like laying stone on a path. The difference between the two is not talent, it's architecture. Today, we're going to look at how monks, across centuries and traditions, have used the structure of a day, not as a cage, but as a form of freedom, and how you can borrow that same architecture without giving up your job, your family, or your modern life. Most of us live reactively. We wake up and the first thing we do is check a phone full of other people's demands. We move from one urgent thing to the next, and by the end of the day, we feel exhausted, not because we did so much, but because none of it followed any order we chose ourselves. This isn't a scheduling problem, it's a deeper one. When a day has no structure, your mind has to make hundreds of small decisions constantly. What to do next, what matters more, what can wait. And each of those tiny decisions quietly drains your energy in what psychologists call decision fatigue. By evening, you're not tired from working, you're tired from deciding. There's a reason monks, across almost every contemplative tradition, Zen Buddhism, Christian monasticism, Stoic households in ancient Rome, built their entire lives around a fixed rhythm. Wake at the same hour, eat at the same hour, work, rest, and reflect at the same hour, every single day, often for an entire lifetime. To an outsider, this can look rigid, even oppressive. But those who actually lived it describe something different, a profound sense of ease, because the day was never a question. It was already answered in advance by the structure itself. This is the paradox at the center of everything we're going to talk about today. Structure is not the opposite of freedom. Structure is what makes freedom possible because it removes the noise of constant micro-decisions and leaves your mind free for what actually matters. So if structure brings so much ease, why do so many of us resist it? Why does the word routine sound boring or even threatening to modern ears? Part of the answer is cultural. We've been taught, especially over the last few decades, that freedom means the absence of rules, that spontaneity is the highest form of living, and structure is something imposed on us by school, by work, by others. So we associate routine with control, and control with a loss of self. But there's a second, quieter reason, and it's more personal. Structure requires us to sit with ourselves, consistently, without distraction. And for many people, especially those healing from a difficult chapter, a breakup, a career change, a loss, that consistency can feel unbearable at first. It's often easier to stay in chaos, moving fast, staying busy, than to sit inside a quiet, ordered day and face whatever surfaces when the noise stops. This is worth naming clearly. If the idea of a calm, structured day makes you uncomfortable, that discomfort is not a sign that structure is wrong for you. It's often a sign of exactly how much you need it. The chaos was never really freedom. It was a way of staying in motion so you wouldn't have to stop and feel. Monks understood this too. Many contemplative traditions describe the first weeks or months of a structured life as the hardest, not because the schedule itself is difficult, but because silence and repetition force a person to finally meet themselves. What looks, from the outside, like discipline is often, on the inside, an act of quiet courage. Here's the shift. You don't need a monastery, a bell schedule, or years of silence to access this. You need 3 fixed points in your day, just 3, and everything else can flow around them. Let's build this together, not a rigid, hour-by-hour schedule, a simpler architecture made of 3 anchor points. The first anchor is the opening of the day. This is not about waking up at 5 a.m. or forcing a 2-hour morning routine you'll abandon in a week. It's about choosing one small, repeatable act that happens before the world reaches you, before the phone, before messages, before anyone else's demands. It could be 5 minutes of silence. It could be writing 3 lines in a notebook. It could simply be drinking water slowly, standing still, before doing anything else. The content matters far less than the consistency. This anchor tells your nervous system, Today begins on my terms. The second anchor is the midpoint, a deliberate pause somewhere near the middle of your day, when energy naturally starts to dip. Most people push through this dip with caffeine or distraction. Instead, treat it as a checkpoint, a few minutes to step outside, breathe, or simply ask yourself, what does the rest of today actually need from me? This isn't a break from your day. It's the moment that reorganizes it. The third anchor is the closing of the day, a small ritual that marks the transition from doing to resting. Many people carry the noise of the day straight into their sleep, which is part of why so many of us lie awake with racing thoughts. A closing ritual, even just 2 minutes of writing down what's unfinished, so your mind doesn't have to hold on to it while you sleep, signals to your body that it's safe to stop. Notice what these 3 anchors have in common. None of them require hours. None of them require willpower in the way we usually think of it. They require only repetition, in the same place, around the same time, until your nervous system stops treating the day as a question it has to answer and starts treating it as a shape it already knows. There's a phrase often attributed to Stoic philosophy that captures this perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The same applies to your days. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control the shape you return to, no matter what happens. This is the deeper meaning behind the discipline of monks, and behind everything we've discussed today. It was never about restriction for its own sake. It was about building a container strong enough to hold a life, so that when chaos comes, and it will, you have somewhere steady to return to. Not a perfect day, not a productive day, just a day with a shape you trust. This is what we mean by an ordered life. Not a life without difficulty, a life with a foundation solid enough to meet difficulty without shattering. Before you go, let's choose just one anchor together, right now. Think of the very next time you wake up. Not tomorrow's whole routine, just the first small act, the one thing that will happen before the world reaches you. Say it to yourself, quietly, in your mind. That's your first anchor. You don't need the other 2 yet. You don't need to get this perfect. You just need to return to it, tomorrow, and the day after, until it's no longer something you do, but simply who you are. This channel is for people quietly rebuilding their foundation, one ordered day at a time. If this is useful to you, stay a while. I'll see you in the next one.